Is your home ready for what's barreling toward us right now? Because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you something the weather models just revealed that could change everything about your Christmas plans. Right this second, winds are hitting 60 miles per hour across Cape Cod. That's tropical storm force, and this is just the beginning. Here's what you need to know in the next 30 seconds. A massive Arctic blast is diving south. Temperatures 30 degrees below normal. And the jet stream? It's doing something we haven't seen in years. Stay with me, because at the 3-minute 20-second mark, I'm going to reveal the exact date when this pattern shifts, and it's not what anyone expected. Let me paint you a picture. Right now, at 6:45 a.m. Eastern Time, severe thunderstorms are slamming Raleigh-Durham in December. While Minnesota is sitting at 20 degrees below zero, that's a 90-degree temperature difference across our nation. Think about that. 90 degrees. The water vapor satellite shows something critical. See that white moisture streaming across the Rockies? That's fuel. And when it collides with this Arctic air mass, we're talking about a trough that's taking on what meteorologists call a negative tilt. Translation? This storm is about to explode in intensity. Wind advisories stretch from the Appalachian Mountains all the way to Martha's Vineyard. We're looking at gusts between 40 and 60 miles per hour through the next 24 hours. Power lines down. Trees snapping. This is the kind of wind that reminds us how small we are in God's creation. And here's a number that should wake you up. Temperatures in Columbia, South Carolina dropped 10 degrees in just 1 hour this morning. 64 degrees at sunrise. 56 degrees an hour later. The cold front is that sharp, but here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part you can't miss. This Arctic air, it's not diving deep south, it's staying north, which means something bigger is brewing. The European model just updated, and I need you to see this. Between now and Christmas, we're looking at a ridge building across the central U.S. Temperatures in Nebraska, Kansas, even Wyoming climbing into the 70 seconds. In late December, while the Great Lakes region can't get above single digits. This is a battle. Warm versus cold. And right along that battle line, that's where the action happens. Now here's your reward for staying with me. At exactly 5 minutes into this forecast, I'm going to tell you what happens after Christmas, because that's when everything changes. The models are showing something that could rewrite January. But first, you need to understand what's happening right now. Lake effect snow is cranking up across Michigan's Upper Peninsula. We're talking several inches, maybe over half a foot in the pink zones on this map. The lake is still warm enough to pump moisture into that Arctic air. It's like a snow machine that God turned on. Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, you're next. Tonight, a burst of snow moves in. Not the dry, fluffy kind. This is going to be heavy, wet snow, the kind that sticks to power lines, the kind that breaks tree branches. Plan accordingly. But look at the Pacific Northwest. Rain just keeps coming. A fire hose of moisture. Northern California is getting hit too. Higher elevations, that's snow. Lower elevations, rain. And it's relentless. Here's a question that should trouble you. Why is the western U.S. so warm? Temperatures well above average. No valley snow. Meanwhile, the Midwest is freezing. What's causing this split? The answer is in the jet stream pattern. And this is where we need to talk about what comes next. Because this pattern we're in right now, it's temporary. Let me take you into the models. The GFS, the European, the Canadian, they're all saying the same thing as we push past December 25th. That ridge in the west starts to break down. The trough in the east tries to dig deeper. And somewhere around December 28th to January 2nd, we enter what I call the transition zone. This is the part of winter where patterns can flip on a dime. And here's why that matters to you. In 2015, December was diabolically warm, 80 degrees in South Carolina on Christmas Day. People said winter was over, and then January hit. Remember that? The blizzard that buried the mid-Atlantic under feet of snow. Second week of January, 2016. Or 2021, warm December, tornado outbreak in Kentucky. Everyone said forget winter. Then 2022 arrived, and we had winter storms 3 weekends in a row across the Carolinas. The lesson? Never count winter out. It only takes one storm to define your season. Just like in life, it only takes one moment of faith to change everything. God's timing isn't our timing. Now here's what the models show for late December. A weak system slides across North Dakota, bringing a wintry mix. Nothing major. Then another system, slightly stronger, moves through the northern tier. Minnesota, Wisconsin. You'll see accumulating snow. A few inches, maybe more in the UP. But watch the temperature gradient. Right along the Great Lakes, there's a battle line. North of it, pure snow. South of it, rain or mix. And that line is going to wobble. That wobble determines who gets what. The I-95 corridor, here's something weird. Your high temperature today might be this morning, then temps drop all day. So when someone asks, what's the high today? The answer is complicated. It already happened at 7 a.m. Temperatures will try to rebound quickly though. By Sunday, we're moderating. The Arctic air doesn't have staying power this time. It's a quick hit, in and out, like a jab, not a knockout punch. But here's the twist, and this is at 12 minutes, so you're right on schedule. Another shot of cold air tries to push in after Christmas. It's not as strong, it doesn't dive as far south, but it's there. The models show it clearly. Late December, another dip. The question everyone's asking, what about January? Will we see sustained cold? Will we see snow for the inland south? For the mid-Atlantic? The Ohio Valley? Right now, the honest answer is the models are struggling. They show pieces of energy. They show troughs trying to dig. But they don't show a sustained pattern change. At least, not yet. And that's frustrating. I get it. For those of us who love winter weather, this is tough to watch. But here's what I keep coming back to. Psalms chapter 37, verses 23 and 24. A person's steps are established by the Lord, and he takes pleasure in his way. Though he falls, he will not be overwhelmed, because the Lord supports him with his hand. When we follow God, we still fall sometimes. Life throws curveballs. Weather doesn't cooperate, plans change, but if we continue to trust, he picks us back up. Don't let a knockdown from life keep you down. We're always called to get back up and keep moving forward. And that's what we're doing with this forecast. We're not giving up on winter. We're watching, we're analyzing, we're staying faithful to the data. Here's something the models are hinting at. And pay attention because this is crucial. Early January, there are signals, faint but present, of a pattern shift. The Pacific jet stream might suppress. The polar vortex might wobble. And if those two things happen together, we could see blocking develop over Greenland. Greenland blocking is the golden ticket for East Coast winter weather. It forces the cold air to come down and stay down. It allows storms to develop along the coast. It's what winter weather enthusiasts pray for. Literally. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying there are hints, whispers in the data, and we need to keep watching. Now, let's talk about what's happening out west, because this matters. The Pacific Northwest has been getting hammered with rain, system after system. The mountains are stacking up snow, and that's good. We need that snowpack for water supply next summer. God provides through the seasons. But the pattern out west needs to change too. We need the ridge to break. We need energy to eject eastward. And right now, it's just not happening consistently. California, you're in a weird spot. Northern parts getting moisture, southern parts dry. The Sierra Nevada is doing okay with snow, but it's all elevation dependent. Down in the valleys, temperatures are too warm. Colorado, Wyoming, the high plains, you're running well above normal. 70 seconds in late December is not typical. It's a warm spell that feels nice day to day, but it robs you of that classic winter feel. And for ranchers, for farmers, it throws things off. Animals get confused. Growth cycles shift. Here's a number to remember. The Euro Ensemble is showing temperatures 10 to 30 degrees above average for morning lows on December 19th. That's today. Across huge sections of the country, we're just warm, except where we're brutally cold. There's no middle ground right now. And that's the theme of this winter so far. Extremes. Either you're freezing or you're wearing shorts. The in-between has disappeared. The Great Lakes are still warm enough to produce lake effect, and that's keeping the snow machine running in the traditional snow belts. Buffalo, Cleveland, Erie, Michigan's UP, you're getting your fair share. It's not a total loss for winter lovers. There are pockets of real winter happening. But if you're in Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, you're watching and waiting. And I know that's hard. Patience is not easy, especially when you see the pattern you want just out of reach. Here's the best part. And this is at 20 minutes, so get ready. The end of the first week of January, multiple models show a significant trough trying to dig into the eastern US. It's not locked in. It could fall apart, but it's there. January 5th through 10th, that's the window to watch. If that trough digs and a storm develops, we could be looking at our first real winter storm of the season for the mid-Atlantic and inland south. Snow, ice, the whole package, but it's too far out to know details. What we can say is the ingredients might be coming together. And isn't that how faith works? We can't see the full picture. We don't know exactly when or how, but we see the signs. We see the promise. And we trust that God's plan unfolds in His perfect timing. Temperature-wise, here's what to expect. This weekend, cold across the Midwest and Great Lakes, moderate along the East Coast, warm out west. Then, next week, we start to even out. By Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, most of the country is near or slightly above normal. It's not going to be a white Christmas for most folks. I'm sorry to say that. But it's reality. The exception is the northern Rockies and maybe parts of the northern plains. You could see snow on Christmas Day. And the traditional lake effect zones might have snow on the ground, but for the majority of the country, it's going to be a brown Christmas or a green Christmas. That doesn't mean winter is canceled, it just means winter is delayed. And we've seen this movie before. Warm December, then bang, January hits hard. Lake effect snow, let's circle back to that. Between now and the next 48 hours, the UP of Michigan could pick up over half a foot. The pink zones on the snow forecast map, that's where the jackpot is. And it's real snow, heavy snow, the kind that makes you remember why you live up there. Or question why you live up there, depending on your perspective. Northern Wisconsin, you're in for a few inches tonight into tomorrow. Minnesota, same deal. Not a blockbuster storm, but enough to shovel, enough to slow you down. Enough to remind you, it's December. Detroit, you might see a half inch, just a coating. Enough to make the road slick, but not enough to plow. Those are the worst kind of snows, honestly. Just enough to be annoying. Out west, the moisture continues. Another system Sunday, another one Monday. The Pacific is active, and that's actually a positive sign. When the Pacific is active, energy is available. Eventually, that energy makes its way east. It has to. The atmosphere doesn't like imbalances. So we wait, we watch, we trust, and we prepare for the possibility that January surprises us. Here's my final thought, and we're at 24 minutes now, so this is it. Winter 2024 to 2025 is not over. It's not even close to over. We're still in December. We haven't hit the coldest part of winter yet, which historically is mid-January into early February. The fat lady hasn't sung. She hasn't even taken the stage. Yes, the pattern right now is frustrating. Yes, it's warm in spots it shouldn't be warm. Yes, the cold air isn't diving deep enough. All of that is true. But patterns change. The atmosphere is fluid, and God is in control of the winds and the waves. I'm reminded that everything in His creation has a purpose. Even the warmth, even the cold, even the waiting. There's a lesson in the patience. There's a lesson in trusting when you can't see the outcome. So for those of you who love winter weather, don't lose hope. Keep watching with me. Keep praying for snow, if that's your thing. Keep trusting that the pattern will shift, because it will. It always does. And for those of you who are just trying to get through to spring, hang in there too. The cold will come and go, the storms will pass, and before you know it, the flowers will be blooming again. But right now, today, tonight, this weekend, here's what you need to do. Secure anything outside that could blow away with these 60-mile-per-hour winds. Charge your devices in case power goes out. Have your flashlights ready. If you're in the lake effect zones, make sure you've got your snow shovels handy. And if you're in the warm zones, enjoy it while it lasts. Most importantly, check on your neighbors, especially the elderly, especially those who might struggle in the cold or the wind or the snow. That's what we're called to do. Love one another. Serve one another. Be the hands and feet of Christ in practical ways. The weather is going to do what it's going to do. We can't control it, but we can control how we respond, how we prepare, how we help each other. That's what matters. One more thing, that window in early January I mentioned, January 5th through 10th, keep that in your back pocket. Don't obsess over it. But remember it, because if the models are right, that could be when winter finally arrives for real across the eastern US. And if I'm reading the signs correctly, it might be worth the wait. Until then, stay warm, stay safe, and keep the faith. God bless you all. The best weather coverage is coming your way tomorrow morning at 6:45 a.m. Eastern. You won't want to miss what the overnight model runs show. Something's shifting. I can feel it.